Welcome to Thru the Ringer. I'm your host, Tate Frazier. We're in studio in Los Angeles, and joining me, as he always does, and lucky for me, Cousin Sal is in the building. Come on.
Best time of year, Tate. Basketball, hockey, more basketball, baseball, horses, underdogs. We hit all the animals.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
everything is checked, and we're very happy because, look, I mean, football's not quite here, which is the best time of the
You
year.
have to ruin it. Okay.
But we do have football on the pitch, you know what I mean? We
That's
have,
true.
Soccer, as we would like to call it in the States.
Do you have a guest to come? Who's going to talk about that?
I have a guest coming up, Anthony DABUNDO. He's going to talk about some Champions League soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. But first and foremost, we get to play my favorite game, Sal, which is over-under reactions. I read you a statement. You tell me what kind of reaction it warrants, and let's start here.
Okay. I've done this before.
You've done this before,
Yeah,
right? You're locked in.
Yeah.
The Dallas Mavericks, Sal, not keeping Jalen Brunson, my favorite player in the NBA, was a bigger mistake than trading Luka Doncic. Over or under reaction, Sal?
Oh, boy. I'm going to say overreaction.
I think so.
Well, in a way, they got nothing for Brunson, so that kind of sucks. But at least they got a 32-year-old bag of broken bones for the third, fourth best player in the league, Luka. But yeah, no, that's bad. That is bad. Nico Harrison, it's his biggest mistake, right? Like he could not go to jury duty and pay the $1,500 fine every year for the rest of his life, and this would still be a bigger mistake.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, and we know we've piled on Dallas a little bit, but it continues to be a topic of conversation, especially as Jalen Brunson continues to play some great basketball.
You know who still thinks it's a good trade for Dallas?
Who?
Your friend Harry.
Oh yeah,
now,
he loves
I know
it.
you defend him, but he's like, this is a wash unless the Lakers win the title. Like, you forget Dallas was in the championship last year, right? Let's just take it from there. And they're not even going to, the guy's going to, Anthony Davis is going to play like 58 more games for Dallas. It just gets me nuts.
Yeah.
It drives me. Why did you bring him up?
I'm sorry.
I brought him up.
You brought it up, and now it's in your head. That's how he gets you. Good one, Harry. Next up, Greg Popovich has the best coaching tree in NBA history. They call him El Jefe now, Sal. Over or under reaction?
Wow. Well, Pop stepping aside, going through a little struggle here. I'm not gonna drag his name through the mud. I'm gonna say under reaction. Isn't that the answer? Right now,
That's
they have
right
a lot
answer.
of the. If you go by Pat Riley, they actually have a lot of the same. But let's go over Pop. Steve Kerr, Doc Rivers, Quinn Snyder, Udoka, Mike Brown, Mike Budenholzer, Spoelstra. Pop's the man. El Jefe, like you said. Keep it going.
I didn't know if that was his coaching tree or all the coaches the Suns are going to fire in the next however many years.
Right,
you know what I mean?
about
So,
that.
we can add that all up. But Greg Popovich, great coach, great moment. It was cool to see Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili next to him. So, shout out to Pop. Next up, let's talk about another guy. LeBron James won't win another title in his NBA career. Over or under reaction?
Is this just clickbait? Is this just you're asking me this for clickbait because you know I'm a high-ranking sports media personality, and you're just going to take in.
I want the headlines. I want the aggregators.
How I make the news. I'm going to say no. I think this is an underreaction.
Cousin Sal says
what?
no.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, look, I think he plays an amazing level at his age, right? A level we'll never see again for that age, unless who knows what the performance-enhancing drugs will look like at the end of the century. But I think for now, we'll give him that. But also 2-12 in his last 14 games.
Oof.
I don't think he's going to do it. The West is just getting better. Not going to really be able to do it. Now, if the Lakers add him as a bench player, I'm sorry, if the Celtics add him as a bench player in 3 years, you're not going to say, I told you LeBron would win one. Would you? I don't know. That's
also, the title thing, it feels very open-ended. We didn't say NBA title. So, I mean, he was like the chairman of the Met Gala. That's a title,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
He's going to get some other titles,
I still say he'd be the best tight end in football history.
Yeah. Let's get him out there. Let's get him another title. Next up, James Harden deserves the NBA's Harry Houdini Award for disappearing in the big moments. Over or under reactions now?
All right, I'm going to say underreaction. Hear me out, though. I know he's been terrible in his last 4 or 5 game sevens or whatever it was, but here's the thing. I think I used up all my James Harden sucks takes back in 2021. I think I'm done.
Let's regurgitate those.
All right. I
Yeah.
mean, selfish teammate, flight risk, all that stuff. Can't win the big game, all that, flops around like no one's business. That's not fun to watch, but I'm kind of out of it. I hope I get there with Aaron Rodgers, too, where I don't want to drag him. I feel like the Clippers have bigger problems than just James Harden, who helped get them to where they were. And you think it's the Clippers who were cursed, right?
Yeah, I think it's more about the Clippers because James Harden, obviously we saw it happen in Houston, but I don't blame him for this. Even Kawhi kind of no-showed that game 7.
Right.
It just felt like that whole series, the Clippers were the better team, but they weren't going to win the series, which feels very Clippers. And yet again, here we sit. And Harry Houdini, his mansion's up there in the hills, so maybe James Harden can buy the Harry Houdini mansion. He can live there.
Maybe the Wall could live there. Maybe the Wall, see, Ballmer flew the Wall out.
Right.
They apparently didn't cheer loud enough. You blame Harden, but it was them.
Turns out that the Wall does not travel well. Same with James Harden. So it all kind of connects.
Exactly.
The Clippers, James Harden, everybody's together.
The Wall, terrible in Game 7s. Take a look.
Don't trust the Wall in Game 7.
To a man.
Also, LeBron James the Wall. I think that was his TV show once upon a time. Yeah, so another title for him.
God, this is really weird.
Yeah, it's all connecting. Next up, Abdul Carter, the Giants' first-round pick, should consult with Cousin Sal on which number he should wear next season. Over or under reaction?
I say underreaction. I saw a lot of trouble last week. I got Phil Sims. I had Phil Sims on Cousin Sal's winning weekend. I said, what are you going to do? Let's say an Abdul Carter or Jackson Dart says, hey, I want your number 11. He's like, I think I would give it to him. Let him do good things with it. Abdul Carter sees the clip. FanDuel TV puts it out. And he's like, I would be honored to have it. And Phil Sims goes back to his family, and his wife's like, you're not giving that up anytime soon. There are fewer retired numbers than there are Hall of Famers. And Abdul Carter's like, I don't know whose number I could take. It's like, well, Abdul, there's like 97 left. I think you're going to figure it out. But I do feel responsible. Maybe I should give him my number 22 football jersey, John Glenn High School, or my singlet, or I don't know. I feel like I need to give him an article of clothes. Maybe the overalls I gave you, the UNC overalls.
That would be good. I'll give him number 7. Number 7's a good number. I feel like he can have any number. Like you said, why is he trying to steal someone else's legacy?
There's so many weird things with this. Yeah. Also, the team should have a say in it, too. It's like, hey, we retire the number, not you, Phil, all right? We don't want to give this up, so we're running out of numbers.
But I like that, again, you know what you're doing here. You get aggregated. That gets passed around, and then Abdul Carter's responding to it.
You keep saying aggregated. I don't know what that means. But
yeah.
I'm gonna look
it
that
sounds
up
provocative. Gets people going. Next up, the Stanley Cup will be won by a Canadian team for the first time since I was born back in 1993.
Wow. Good for you.
Over or under reaction.
Graduated college that year. That's disgusting. I'm going to say overreaction. I hope not. I hope you're wrong about this Canadian
I think I was born to stop Canada from winning the Stanley Cup.
Born to sit here with me. I have money on the Golden Knights of Las Vegas, which last time I checked is not a part of Canada, although I think they've looked to move there. I don't know what happened. I don't want to get political. Winnipeg was too lucky in that 7-game series. Edmonton hopefully losing that series to Vegas. I think Toronto is a good bet, except they always blow it, and their goalie got smashed in the head. I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, Toronto blowing it is sort of the funniest bit in all of sports now, right?
Yeah.
It's like Lucy pulling the ball from Charlie Brown.
It's like pulling for the Clippers in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
true. You just know it's not going to happen.
Right.
Even if you see it in front of you, you're like, they're the better team. It just feels like the rug is going to get pulled at some point. Those 3 teams, like you said, they all have some sort of reason to argue against them, but maybe. Just maybe.
James Harden should play right wing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that's the way it works.
I think that's the answer. Next up, the Charlotte Hornets should send Tate Frazier, that's me, to be the representative for the NBA draft lottery. Over or under reaction?
Oh, this is the biggest underreaction of them all.
Okay.
I would love to see you there.
Right.
I would love to, because I think you're jovial, you're affable, and you have that smile on no matter what, because it's important if you get the 11th pick or the first pick to kind of have the same demeanor. You see these GMs over time, and they just have to, like Weekend at Bernie's, just like smile. But let's test it out. Like, the Charlotte Hornets get the 11th pick. What's your reaction? Okay, good.
Yeah, you gotta do the lean back, sigh, look around, do some eye contact. Right.
You get about a half a second to be pissed off, and it can't show on your face. Now, on the other side,
just a little in the depth of your eyes, because you need the fans to know you're upset.
That's
you know what I mean? Like
there's
a level of like,
but I'm
pain.
a good sport about it. Now let me do this. With the first pick, Charlotte Hornets.
Cooper flag, you're us. You know what I mean?
That's
Maybe I hang the flag. Maybe at that point I have a flag, and it's Cooper Flag's face, and I hang it.
Oh, you have it in your pants,
Or I bring out a sign that's like a Woody Page, where he writes on the whiteboard and it just says, Celtics want to make the trade now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because we're ready.
Yeah,
if we get Cooper Flag, we'll send him for Jaylen Brown and all
bring
the picks.
phone, like Celtics.
All the picks.
Call us.
Yes, phone number, right?
I like that. I think you're ready.
That would be good. They're going to send Charles Lee, the head coach, which probably feels feels more proper. But if they need somebody, I'm willing to
Is he going to have to show ID? Like, no, I'm serious. I'm the head coach of this.
He's going to hopefully have real ID. We all need real
right.
ID. It's coming out right now. Last one, Sal, by the end of this calendar year, you better have real ID. But if not, Bill Belichick will be more hated than Coach K in the state of North Carolina. Over or underreaction?
This is an overreaction.
Yes.
Okay.
You're just trying to get me riled up.
We're just having fun with this. And I'm trying to think what would have to happen for this to come to fruition. Not many things would do it, right? Like if they went winless in the conference, still Coach K. Still
right.
Coach K.
Always Coach
right?
K. Right.
If Jordan, sells the team for Cartier watch, still Coach K. I think,
Still Coach
right?
K.
Right? Close. If he makes Jordan starting quarterback, that's a little weird, right? This is what I would think. Jordan, the Michael Jordan retired number becomes Jordan Jordon.
Yes.
However you spell hers.
Yes. She's Don, not Dan.
I think that then, and if Belichick lets it happen, then he's the most hated.
I think the only way he's the most hated is if we find out he's a rat. You know what I mean? Like he has been an operative for Duke to be hired by us to destroy the football program. You know what I mean? That would be my only way.
Two teams not even close to winning the. Yes, all right.
Yes,
it's going a long way.
And they're colluding together, right?
No, Coach K has the most intense stamp of hatred imaginable.
I just had to say on my podcast recently that I don't hate Coach K because I fear he may have blackballed me. So
blackballed you?
Yeah, and Caleb Love and everybody else.
You should hate him because of that.
Yeah, right. So Coach K, I don't hate you.
I've said it a million times. You got the last laugh beating him on his home turf there.
People forget, Sal, that it did happen.
They
one man who does not forget, the Riverboat captain. Let's call him up. He's got a fun question this week, Sal. Some prop culture for you. He's asking this: which NBA family would make the most entertaining reality show?
Oh.
Not the Krzyzewskis. That would be a college basketball show. But here's the NBA families, and we got the odds here. The James gang, the James family, 2-1. They're the favorites. The Jokic brothers at 5-1. Team Halliburton at 7-1. Phoenix Suns Gorillas Troop at 150-1. And then the Fielders at even odds. Which NBA family do you want to see?
Well, wow, this is fun. And then the field is even, right? So, maybe the Phoenix Suns Gorilla Troop there, because then a different member of the family can fight a different 100 human men every week. That would be fun. That would be fun to watch. Maybe that would get sad after a while. You know what? I'm going off the board. I'm saying the Currys, right?
Okay,
You got Steph, you got Seth, you got Dell, you got Aisha. And what about that adorable daughter? Was it Riley?
Riley.
Daughter? Yeah. Now
she's all grown up now.
She's grown up. She's like 12. Right? So let's see how she reacts to the current climate where, she asked for $30. She only gets 2 for Christmas. She asked for 250 pencils. She only gets 5. I want to see how she reacts, how the Currys are doing. That's my pick, the Currys.
I love the Currys. I think they're great. You also get Dell popping in every once in a while. You get Sonya, the mom, popping in every once in a while. You also get the fact that they can all both be at the dinner together, and they're not together anymore, so we get some drama there. There's a lot there. I think the Currys is a great pick.
And they're doing trick shots. They're like camping in the mountains, and then there's a basket on the bottom, and the staff is now.
You get California, you get North Carolina. These are 2 places near and dear to my heart. So I think that's a great call. I think that's that would be the one that you would go for. I would take the Currys as well. The Jokic brothers. We were talking about the Gorillas last week. We need 100 people.
Yeah.
I think the Jokic brothers, if you get those 3 guys at the start, you have a good chance.
3 Jokic's versus a gorilla.
Yes.
I want to see that.
I feel good.
They did show him. That freaking guy is jacked. I feel like he can win the light heavyweight championship.
I think he can handle anybody, any problem. And speaking of handling things, Sal, you're going to take over and handle some lines for us.
I'm going to handle it. All right, these are made-up lines. Don't look on FanDuel. They don't exist, all right? Don't write me a letter. You can't find this anywhere except for right here. Over under 2.5 years before ESPN does a 30 for 30 on the rise and collapse of my NBA playoff blowout betting strategy. I was up like 50, 55 units over the last 3 years. Tate, I can't get a game to end 10 or more.
I know.
It'll be 25 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. It'll end up 8. There are 6 that have ended on 9.
It was like unbeatable at a point last time. And now we're sitting here, and I think ESPN is already cooking this up. So I'm going to take the under.
All right.
I think they're already working.
Well, good. They should slow down because there's going to be another element of this when I sue the league.
Right.
Because I know it's collusion. And so Adam Silver, good for you. I hope you enjoy your days in Alcatraz.
Yeah, I know what he's doing. He's got it figured out. But I'm going to take the under. Shout out to the 30 for 30 producers who are already working on this. What else you got?
All right. Over under 3.5 days for rest to become rust in the NBA playoffs, there's always a lot of this talk with, is there too much rest for Boston before they got in with the Knicks in game 1? Too much rest for OKC against Denver. Both those home teams lost. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I have thoughts.
Well, every single time a team, like you said, Boston loses, even though they were up 20, that rust got them, you know?
Yes.
That rust always comes in at the worst time.
OKC up 7 with a minute and a half left. Oh, it was the rust.
Here comes the rust.
Yeah. The rust got to Caruso's brain. That made him foul 1.1 seconds into the play.
Exactly. We thought the rest was the reason that they had the 20-point lead and the 7-point lead. So they are at odds with each other at all times. I do think it is very funny. When you hear a number like 7 days, you immediately go to rust. And once it gets to a week, you say rust. If it's 3 or 4 days, it's rest. Funny enough, when it's 2 days, we're like, oh, that's rest. That's great rest. But when it gets past around 3, 4, 5 range, it feels like it turns to rust. So that's where
I feel like this is the most hypocritical topic that sports media could get. Like one week, someone will say, oh, you can never have too much rest. And then the other one is like, no, I want the teams that played game 7 3 hours ago.
I want the teams that have been in it.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah, the hot teams.
I
think it's over, though. Over 3.5
You're going to go over.
days.
How about this one? Nathan Fielder. The rehearsal. Minus 6.5 clutch moments over Buddy Hield last Sunday. Hield took Golden State, took him out of that series. That was nice in game 7. But Nathan took HBO Max to a guaranteed Emmy, I think.
It's unbelievable what Nathan Fielder has been able to do. Again, the first show was Nathan for you. It does feel like the rehearsal is Nathan for us. He is doing this for all of us. You know what I mean?
Like
it's like we've been waiting for someone to break the 4th wall. He might be in the 5th wall. He might be in the 5th dimension.
God, yeah.
He is speaking at a different level. And you can watch that show and be disgusted. You can be scared. You can be all these things. Or you can watch and be laughing the whole time. The wide range.
I just sit there and go, my wife hates it. She says it's awkward. She's having, he's taking a national nightmare and like aviation disaster and making it the funniest moments on television. He's just like, and the baby Sully Sullenberger is just spectacular.
Who else can get away with this?
Go watch what is that, episode 3? What was it?
3, the rehearsal.
Forget if you've ever seen it before. Go watch it now. Forget about us. Forget about the bundo. The soccer can wait. Go watch that right now.
Go watch it. It's great TV, and I'm gonna take Nathan Fielder. Even though Buddy was great, Buddy said he's Steph is Batman, he is Robin, and Jimmy Butler is Alfred, because his last name is Butler. So they figured that all out. We figured out Nathan Fielder was gonna win an Emmy. So there's
Iron Man.
Yeah, he has figured it out. He's Iron Man. We're gonna take a quick break. Stay tuned. We're gonna be right back. We will not be talking soccer just yet. We have some more fun with Cousin Sal. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to Thru the Ringer. We're here in the studio, myself with Cousin Sal, and we got a lot going on.
Let's go.
NBA playoffs, NHL, MLB. There's a lot to get to. Let's start here, Sal. Line look ahead. We got the Celtics taking on the Knicks. Celtics minus 10.5 in this game. 2-11 is the line.
I thought that was it. I thought it was
over.
Yeah. We got to do this again?
That
was fun.
I think it should be over.
Knicks won.
Knicks fans are celebrating like it's over, Sal.
It's just when the documentary ends. It's good.
Right. What do you like in this one? Do you think the Knicks can do it again?
No, I don't. The big bet is for the sad Bill Simmons meme, how many times it'll be seen on the internet should the Celtics lose. I think it opened at 77,000 or so. But I'm going to look at a different total here. How improbable that the Celtics didn't cover that game, let alone win. They're up 16 at half. Brunson had 3 fouls. And Towns had 3 fouls. So I was like, this team's done. This is a typical game 1. No, they came back. Good for the Knicks. Good for Bridges. He was great. I think the shots are going to fall, though, Wednesday night. I'm going to go over 211. Celtics are not missing 45 threes. They're just not going to do it again. I can't even believe that's a stat. And the Knicks were terrible from the free throw line. They missed 14 free throws. So that's a lot of points you're leaving on the table. They got to 213 even with those miscues. Now, granted, they had overtime, but I think it's going to be in the 118-100 range. Give me over 211.
I wouldn't be shocked if this is a regression to the mean where the Celtics make every single 3 that they look at in this game. And that's the reason I like the over as well. I do feel like when they saw all the headlines, all the ripping, 45 missed threes, postseason record, this is bad for basketball, this is Steph Curry's fault, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It just feels like the perfect time for it to go back the other way completely and the Celtics to play like a beautiful game where they share the ball and then make a million threes. So I like the over as well.
Yes, the 45 number is just insane to me. Like it's such coaching malpractice, right? It's like, Coach, should we change up the game? No, see, get to 60. 60 misses would be good. See if we can get 100. Can we get 100 misses?
Hey, keep shooting. That's what we kept saying, and now look where we are. Deion Waiters, he created this kind of world that we live in. J.R. Smith probably a little bit too, but again, over is the number what we like in this game. There's also some player props that we like. Line look at here, Celtics, Knicks, player props. Who do you like on the board?
All right, I'm going to go Derek White. He's going to be part of that 3 brigade. They bring it back. I think he's going to 4+ at -104. He was the only one on Monday night who actually had it going for the Celtics. He had 6 field goals, 5 of them were threes, so he already is out there. Just need 4 tonight. He can crush this number. He had 7. I think it was game 1 against Orlando. He averages 5 a game against the Knicks this year. He tosses up a ton of 3 balls. I think they go in tonight. D. White, 4+ threes. -104.
-104. Yeah. That's crazy, and that number continues to trend in that direction. That's how much belief that the lines makers, kind of believe in the Celtics team's bouncing back. If you look at the line for Peyton Pritchard, over/under threes in this game, it's 2.5. I'm on the same side here, Sal. I'm going to take the over, and you can get that at +146. So the
Ducks.
6th man of the year,
there you go.
Oregon Duck, Peyton Pritchard playing some good basketball. So those 2 guys are going to make some shots. We're going to make some money. So we like that in that game. Let's do the next game. Line look ahead. Thunder taking on the Nuggets. Thunder -11 in this one. The line is 230.5. What do you like here?
These lines are so bloated, right? I think the Thunder were like 9.5 against the Nuggets, and then they lose game 1, so they have to jack it up to 11 when the home team loses game 1. And it seems hard to cover these numbers. Trust me, as I'm giving 9.5 on both sides for each game. You could be up 20 with a few minutes left.
This is going to be in the documentary that they're making right now.
Yes, right now. I had this one. Is it too shiny on top? I'm going to go OKC -3.5 first quarter. I'm going to try to play it a little different. They beat Memphis by 12 and 15 at home in the first quarter. And they weren't even in no effing around mode then, right? Now they have to come out strong. SGA, Denver lets up a little early. They don't need this one maybe. I could see SGA having 14 in the first quarter. I see your bet coming up. That's a little foreshadowing. I know what you're doing here. 29-21 first quarter. That's what I'm saying.
I like that call there for the Thunder. I'm just going to take the over.
Okay.
I'm going to make it easy. -110 in this one. I just think the Thunder are going to come out similar to the Celtics, where they have obviously a message that they want to send. They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to make a lot of shots. And the Nuggets are going to recoil a little bit and say, hey, let's save it for Denver. We already did our damage here. So I like the Thunder to score a lot. I like the over overall in this game. So that's a fun one. Another line look ahead. We got player props in this game. What do you like, Sal?
I'll get Chet Holmgren double-double +210. Man, those missed free throws. They lost the free throw game. They want to play the foul game at the end. They lost it. Holmgren missed 2.
Yeah, he created a new double-double.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think he's one of them that steps up in the form of a double-double. Points not a problem. 10 straight games where he's had 10 or more, 15 out of the last 17. It's the rebounds. He had 10 or more in 2 of the games against Memphis. He's getting rebound opportunities. He got in foul trouble, which was a problem in the first game. Only played like 27, 28 minutes, usually around 31, 32. I like 12 +220 for this prop, double-double.
Yeah, Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren struggled from the free throw line late in this game. And, you see mostly positive coverage with the Thunder, but it was the first time I've seen people celebrating their downfall for the first time. You know what I mean?
People are sick of their success.
Yeah, right. It was like the first time I saw the kind of flip switch. So shout out to Chet Holmgren. I know that's not fun when people calling you choke Holmgren and all that sort of stuff, but you can always bounce back.
How do you know that's not fun? Do people have called you that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They've called you Choke Holmgren?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That was my nickname.
Right.
That's what they said. I like SGA first basket in this game, Sal.
Okay.
I love a first basket bet. I don't think I've gotten any of them right so far, but I think in this game, SGA comes out, point to prove, scores the first basket, +440.
Part of this, I'm taking over this game mentality, +440. All right, Chet, win the tip. Come on.
Win the tip.
There you go.
SGA score the basket, and let's all have some fun here. Next, let's do some hockey. Line look ahead, NHL play of the day for Wednesday. Sal, what do you like?
I'm going to go Dallas Stars over the Winnipeg Jets, -125. Rest versus rust here, Tate. I know you're going to have something to say about this. Winnipeg, the most improbable Game 7 win of all time. 1 seconds left over John Hamm's St. Louis Blues to tie it. Then they take it in double overtime. Now up against Stars, favored to win the whole thing. Mikko Rantanen, 11 points in 3 games, red hot. Stars are out tonight. Tate, you're going the other side.
Yeah, I like it. I like the call, but I also think that it's always rust. You know what I mean? It's never rest. It's always rust.
Man, I'm so confused now.
I'm going to take the Jets.
All right. Okay.
The Winnipeg Jets. I know we talked down on the Canadian teams earlier, but I'm going to take them in this game. Plus 104 money line. It's fun. Why not take the Jets? They're
well, because they're
going
to lose. I just told you. Why not? I'll read it again.
Right.
Mikko Rantanen, 11 points in 3 games. All right.
Yeah, you heard him. You heard the man. You already said. Let's do some Major League Baseball. Last one, Sal. Line look ahead. Play of the day for Wednesday. Who do you like on the dime?
Padres Yankees is fun. I'm going to go over 8 minus 106. You would think 8 might be too high. Max Fried is pitching, but Dylan Cease, who was one time a great player, not so much anymore. Has like a 6 ERA. Hasn't gone 5 innings in last 2 starts. 6 hits allowed in 4 of the last 5. I think the Yankees get to him. Judge is already taking him deep. And Luis Arias, on the other hand, hitting 600 against Fried. 6-4 final. Who wins? Who cares? I'm going over.
Yeah, I like that you did the Lee Corso there. Not so fast.
Yeah.
You led us down a path and then you shot us back the other way. That's a good one. I'm going to take Angels money line over the Blue Jays plus 100. My buddy, big Angels fan, lived out in Anaheim.
He told you?
Yeah, he said it's a lock.
Okay.
What's
his name?
Yeah, Joe. Blame
All right,
him.
Joe, we're coming after you.
Joe, the average Joe. He's probably wrong, but he said Angels money line over the Jays. He's taking it all day, every day, plus 100. Hey, we'll be watching out here in California, so that'll be a good one. Sal, where can we find you? Where can we watch you?
Against All Odds, the Ringer Podcast Network, couple times a week, and Cousin Sal's Winning Weekend at the end of the week. We're going to do it with your friends at D3.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Always is. Sal, we appreciate you coming on the show. Stay tuned. I promise soccer/football at the top. We got it on the other side of the break. We got the Ringer's very own Anthony DABUNDO joining us. Stay tuned.
Dude.
Yeah, we'll be right back after the break.
Sweet, sweet man.
Welcome back to Thru the Ringer, as promised. Joining us now, you know him from the Ringer Soccer Show, and you know him from joining this show. He's the great Anthony DABUNDO. DABUNDO, we had some great soccer/football on our television screens yesterday. First and foremost, how fun has it been for you to watch these Champions League games?
I don't think I'm being a prisoner of the moment when I say that Barcelona-Inter, the 2 legs, was the greatest 2-legged Champions League match I've ever seen. And there's been crazier comebacks. There's been crazier moments. But from minute 1, Inter scored in minute 1 of the first leg. And then Inter scored again in the final minute of stoppage time in regulation of the second leg to force extra time, then wins it in extra time. I mean, 7-6. Soccer gets made fun of for being low scoring. Take that. What an epic clash.
Yeah, and let's talk about it because, we hear this all the time, this trope, the tale of 2 halves. But in this game, Inter goes up, it's 2-0. We get into halftime. There is sort of a celebration. It does feel like, okay, it's Inter's day. We come out in the second half. It's all Barcelona, everything. The win was at their back. They take that 3-2 lead. They obviously have the aggregate lead at that point as well. And then from there, just more mayhem, more magic happens. Like, in that second half, how many times, like whiplash for you, how many times did you say it was a sure thing to be Barcelona, a sure thing to be Inter? What was that like?
The thing is, it's really been Barcelona all year long.
Right.
They don't really have the ability, given their play style, given their personnel, to turn down the dial, to turn down the chaos meter. And so when they're down 2-0, I was joking with people. I was like, I think they're going to come back. I have no doubt they'll come back. And then even at 3-2, people were like, it's over. I'm like, I don't know. They're still trying to score. They're still taking chances. They're subbing on attackers in the final minutes here to try to go for this. Lamine Yamal hits the post with a chance to put them up 7-5 on aggregate. Mm-hmm. And then Inter scores a minute later at the other end with their center back, Acerbi, to make it 6-6. And all of a sudden, we're going into extra time. And then extra time, Jan Sommer makes some incredible saves for Inter. So really, like, Barcelona, if you're a casual fan, if you're somebody who watches soccer periodically, There's no more entertaining team, honestly, in maybe the last decade than this version of Barcelona right now.
Yeah, let's talk about this version of Barcelona. Obviously, the Inter storyline, we'll get to that when we talk big picture of Champions League. But for Lamine Yamal, who are, the casual fan, like you said, I mean, this is a 17-year-old. They've compared him to Messi, obviously, because of the Barcelona thing. We've heard Pele comps. Like, these are all very high-level comps for a kid that's 17 years old. Like, what does he have? I mean, he's been called a genius, but, like, what has he shown on the pitch that you really like about him so far?
It's honestly the ability to slow the game down and speed the game up at the same time. Like when you watch Yamal go up against experienced older center backs and older wing backs and guys who have been playing professionally for a decade or for years, who are at the top of their game. And then he is just so confident in the way he moves, the way he controls the ball, his first touch, his ability to use his left foot, not just with like in swingers. We saw he almost scored, and he did score in the first matchup in the first leg, but his ability to use the outside of his left foot to play the kind of like scissor pass with the outside of the foot to cross it from the other side. He is just honestly, there is no superlative I can shower on him that would overstate just how impressive he is. And think about this. He is 17 years old. He was Spain's arguably best player, maybe second, third best player at the Euros. Last summer, he was 16 years old. He turned 17 the day before the final. Now he's in the Champions League, rinsing elite players at 17. There is no comp in team sports. Mm-hmm. Honestly, ever. We could talk about gymnasts, and we could talk about swimmers, and we could talk about tennis players, because we've seen that. But in a team professional sport like this, I mean, you think about people like a LeBron or a Kobe. They were in high school. In football, there is no comp. In other sports we think of, nothing comes to mind. And so seeing this is honestly, I can't possibly overstate it, and it's incredible. And I'm excited to see, next summer he'll be 17 at the World Cup still. He turns 18 next July. So I think there's just a lot of opportunity for him to cement an early career legacy that's one of the greatest ever.
Yeah, to give some context to this, I pulled this. This was the record after 100 club games. Yamal has 22 goals, 26 assists, 28% of the team's goals are generated by him. To give a comparison, Ronaldo, 14 goals, 14 assists, 36% of his team's goals there. So, I mean, you said it. I mean, this guy is like, we're talking all time already, whether it's Messi, whether it's Ronaldo, Pele. I mean, like you said, it's his own unique thing. So if there is a name to know, he is a good name to know. But now let's talk about just the Champions League in general. We have a situation now where we have PSG taking on Arsenal. This game is happening as you're probably getting ready to watch this game coming up right after this. But who do you like in this game, and what should we be looking for?
Yeah, this is the ultimate end boss challenge for Arsenal that they've kind of had for, I want to say, 2.5 years since they've become this elite team under Mikel Arteta. They're the best defensive team in the world. Arsenal, when they're playing with a lead, when they're playing in these tight matches, they're usually excellent. But when they fall behind and they face teams who sit off and give them the ball and dare them to break them down, when they face these elite foes, we saw it last year in the quarterfinals against Bayern. We've seen it at times this year in the Premier League where they've drawn too many matches instead of winning them because they haven't scored enough. Are they explosive enough? Are they dynamic enough to create? Do they have enough depth? Because they are very reliant on Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka to create their chances. And in the first leg in London last week at Arsenal, Nuno Mensch, the left back for PSG, did an excellent job containing Saka. We saw Arsenal have much more success on the other side with their left wing, with Martinelli, with Leandro Trossard. So now we saw the second half, 45 minutes Arsenal had at home. They couldn't really create many big chances. Now they have 90 minutes. They're going to need at least one, probably two, in Paris to get through to the final today. And they have to prove they can do it. They're great on set pieces, but when the ball's in play, they're just okay. And I think that's the most fascinating element of this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 2.5 goals as the line in this game, over -150, under +124. Do you lean certain way in this game? What do you like?
Yeah, I did bet under 2.5 at +124. The thing I like about it is even if Arsenal does score, let's say they get that goal and we get to 1-1 on aggregate, we're still going to see a very passive approach from both teams. It won't be until PSG goes up again, or if Arsenal were to take the lead, that maybe things look a little bit different in terms of tactically how these two teams set up. And we saw PSG go on the road in the quarterfinal with a 2-goal lead and really struggle defensively, but they did a much better job. I think they made some tactical changes in the matchup against Arsenal in the second half of the first leg to kind of rein in the Gunners' chances at goal. They only had 5 shots in the second half, only about 0.4 expected goals. So it was not an encouraging performance if you're an Arsenal fan and you've kind of seen this movie before. So it's a little scary.
Yeah,
going into the second leg.
Yeah, it's like you said, you've seen it before. You don't want to see it again. We look at anytime goal scorer here. Dembele's the favorite, plus 165. Do you like that number, or do you like someone else on the board?
Yeah. So the big thing for PSG, the big red flag is we don't know until if Dembele is even going to play. Mm-hmm. So he, left early with an injury last week in the first leg, didn't play over the weekend against Strasbourg. PSG rested a lot of their key players. And so the player to watch, if he's out, is Gonzalo Ramos, because Ramos would step in, and Ramos and Dembele are very different players. Dembele is traditionally a winger. He likes to come short. He likes to receive the ball, turn, play, run at defenders with the ball at his feet. Ramos is more of a traditional striker. He's also much more willing to try to get in behind defenses, make those runs over the top of a defense. And so if PSG decides to play a little more passively, you're going to see them launching balls long over the top, trying to get those opportunities there, because they know trying to play through the Arsenal press is a much more dangerous game than going long over the press. Because the worst thing that happens, if you're Arsenal or you're PSG and you go long and you lose the ball, okay, you've given Arsenal the ball back. What are they going to do with it? Probably not much to hurt us. Mm-hmm. And so I think Ramos, Dembele, we'll see what the fitness situation is heading into the second leg here.
Yeah, and you can get Ramos at plus 180, so they're seeing what you're saying there. And obviously the odds are in favor of there. Let's look at the future odds to win the Champions League. PSG, the favorite right now, plus 100. Inter Milan, plus 120. Arsenal, plus 700. Do you like the PSG play there at plus 100? Or, I mentioned this before we started on the air, and it seemed like you were a little worried. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, as good as Inter have been, and they've taken out Bayern Munich, they've taken out Barcelona as underdogs in both ties. They were out-created in both. They relied a lot on having very efficient and effective set pieces and transition attacks. And to me, Bayern and Barca are more vulnerable defensively than this PSG team is right now. And I think PSG is a more well-rounded team that can probably take out some of the variance that comes from, the opportunities that Bayern and that Barca will give you. And honestly, I would take either PSG or Arsenal over Inter if we got to a final and that was the matchup. And so I do think PSG at plus money there is a good bet right now.
Yeah, so let's do it. PSG plus money. You heard it from DABUNDO. Take that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball with DABUNDO and some just general stuff. Maybe we'll even hit the NFL draft. But we'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned, and we'll see you here on Thru the Ringer. Welcome back to Thru the Ringer. We're here with Anthony DABUNDO, and we are going to talk some Major League Baseball. Shout out to you. You're watching all these games. You're locked in. You're putting together the power rankings. And let's start with the number one team on the board. Of course, we're out here in Los Angeles. Let's talk about the Dodgers. What have they shown you? Why are they number one? And what is, if you're just a casual fan, what have the Dodgers kind of put out so far this season?
It's so funny because when we talk about the Dodgers, I think every baseball fan wants to complain. They want to say, oh, look at all the money they spend.
Right.
It's obscene. You could argue one of their most valuable players this year has been a very not well-known rookie named Ben Kasparius, who debuted in the playoffs last year and hasn't really been a heralded name. He's not on a big contract, and yet he's given them a ton of awesome innings. And they've needed him because he's been a bulk pitcher for them. Glasnow, hurt. Snell, hurt. Sasaki hasn't quite lived up, I think, to the expectations, although it's early. And you're looking around, Bobby Miller, who's supposed to come back this year, hasn't been good. Dustin May's been up and down. Yamamoto has really been their superstar pitcher, but the depth has been really tested here. And yet it just seems like no matter what happens, the Dodgers find some guy who comes out of nowhere and pitches to a 3 ERA. And that's a credit to their organizational depth. And that's why they stay number one. Even though I don't trust their rotation right now, I trust their bullpen at all times. And their offense is their offense. And they're hitting really well. I know Teoscar Hernandez just went down with an injury. But it's just, there's going to need to be a lot for me to move them off number one. And I haven't seen a lot from any team quite yet.
Yeah, and I like Yamamoto, plus 270 Cy Young odds right now, tied for the best with Paul Skeens. Number 2 on the board, power rankings. We got the New York Mets. Obviously, the Soto signing was a big deal. Soto hasn't even really gotten into form yet, but the Mets have been great. What have you liked and what have you seen from the Mets? Maybe you don't like it, but you've seen a lot.
I don't like any of it. I was at Citi Field last week. The Mets walked off. I walked into a bar and I got my Mets buddies, imitating broom sweeps.
Oh, yeah.
While I'm wearing my Phillies jersey. So I'm not enjoying any of it, but I can appreciate it as a baseball fan. Really what they've done with this bullpen. And I think that's the key here. The question entering the season was, can the Mets get anybody out? They've got some pitching injuries. They're using a converted reliever to be a starter on opening day. It's like, oh, this kind of feels a little dicey. It's a very deep bullpen, and they've been very effective. And they're really going to get tested now. They lose A.J. Minter. They lose Danny Young. Edwin Diaz has not been peak Edwin Diaz. And so I think you could poke holes in the Mets and say, how long is this going to last with the bullpen? But this is a staple of David Stearns. When he was in Milwaukee, now in New York, he's done an incredible job of developing the pitching lab, developing the bullpen arms, the depth, the pitching organizational depth that has really funneled this season for the Mets.
Yeah, Cousin Sal, very happy. He thinks
I'm
they
sure
should be
he
number
is.
one on the power rankings, but that's a conversation for a different time. Now let's take the Chicago Cubs. They're number 3 on the board, and this is encouraging news. What have you liked from the Cubs, and what have you seen so far?
I mean, if Pete Crow Armstrong, he could win MVP, if we're being honest. Like, that's how good he's been. And the American League is kind of a runaway with Judge, but the National League, if Ohtani's not going to pitch, which we'll see how much he actually pitches, all of a sudden the National League race gets a lot more interesting. And you're looking around the board and you're like, okay, Alonso's had a good start, but probably not an MVP caliber player just based on his history. Tatis will be in the mix, certainly. But PCA, elite defense, elite speed, giving them power, hitting 7th in the lineup for now, but I don't think it'll be for long. The Cubs have always had a deep lineup of pretty good players. Now they have a deep lineup of pretty good players with a budding star in PCA and an emerged star and a superstar in Kyle Tucker. And just the difference that has on a team is massive. They're going to have to fix the bullpen. It is a problem. They really don't get anybody out after the 7th inning, but they're going to slug their way, I think, to a comfortable NL Central title at this point.
Yeah, and I love the PCA. You're getting the PTA treatment there. So I think the nickname is rolling off the tongue. Sounds like a superstar to me. Speaking of superstars, let's talk about the number 4 team, the New York Yankees. Aaron Judge continuing to dominate. And the Yankees, I mean, they look like who they are supposed to be, which is the Yankees, thanks to Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I'm actually, as much as Judge is Judge, and I mean, I don't really know what to say that's new about him anymore.
Right.
What I can say, and what is interesting to me, is that they're getting production from the non-Judge guys too. Mm-hmm. And that was the concern preseason that I had. I bet they're under wins, but pre-Cole injury. And honestly, like, they're still kind of around that number. It hasn't been like this incredible month, but the Yankees have gotten production from guys like Ben Rice and Trent Grisham, who were not expected to take these huge leaps. Rice, younger player, maybe could have seen it coming. Grisham's been around a long time. So you're seeing these kind of leaps to make up for the loss of Soto. It's worked so far, but I look at the Yankees and I still see a couple of pretty big red, at least orange flags. Right now they have 2 reliable starters. That feels a little ominous. And their bullpen, Devin Williams, the big trade acquisition, he blew another game on Monday night. He has a 10 ERA. His stuff looks down. It's just, if he's not good, their bullpen looks a little thin too. So I still have questions about the Yankees. They haven't played Boston really yet this season. And so we'll see how that rivalry gets going here. I think they're the 2 best teams in the division. I think they're going to be battling it out all summer.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what that looks like. And obviously the Yankees are just trying to get that pitching group and that rotation back before they can get their ace. Rodon's been nice. He's been a nice piece for them. Number 5, the San Diego Padres. Obviously a team that if you're out here with the Dodgers, that's a team, just like you said, you don't like to see their success, but they're playing some really good baseball right now. What have you seen from Tatis, and what do you like about this Padres team?
Yeah, Tatis is having a peak season right now. The strikeout rate is down. The hard hit rate is up. The barrel rate is up. Everything you'd want to see in a superstar player having a potential peak season, we're seeing it with Tatis. And what I love the most about San Diego, their bullpen is lights out. And they were last year in the second half. AJ Preller, the general manager, not afraid to spend, not afraid to burn prospects, not afraid to make the big trade. He's got big stones. And really, since the trade deadline of last year, they've been the best bullpen in baseball. And that is a credit to him and them. And that's why they're really a dangerous team in this NL playoff race. I don't think they have the depth to compete with the Dodgers for 162, but don't be surprised if we get to October and San Diego and LA are in another classic series and it's coming down to one game. It's very possible we're in that situation again.
Yeah, those are the best times, and that's why we love, playoff baseball. It's always great. Let's talk about a team that's near and dear to your heart. Let's talk about the Phillies. They're number 8 in the power rankings, but the pitching rotation is really good right now. Dare I say historical? You've been pointing this out. What do you like about the Phillies?
So here's the stat. There's a metric called Sierra, which looks at ERA, and it adjusts for park factors and defense. They are the third best rotation thus far since 2002, which is as far back as the data goes. Pretty impressive.
Sounds pretty good to me, yeah.
Pretty good, yeah. And they just got Ranger Suarez back from injury, their fifth guy, who would be like the third guy on most teams. So they're going to be in every game. And there's questions. Bryce Harper's not had a great start, so a couple of their hitters have been lagging. But with the starting rotation being this good, you're just in every game, every night, and that is such a huge luxury in baseball right now.
Last thing I want to hit, draft reactions, NFL draft reactions. You're the Ringer's resident Colts fan. How you feeling about the Colts decision? Tyler Warren, Penn State. Was that a win? I mean, I know draft season's the best because we can all say it's a win, or, we can all say it's a loss depending on your vantage point. But what are your thoughts on the Colts and what they did in the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch a ton of college football, but the little college football I do watch tends to be relatively Penn State adjacent based on where I live and who I'm friends with.
It was a good call this year, right? You got 2 top picks right there.
Right, and Warren was awesome. Every time I watched him, I'm like, this guy is an electric player who I want on my team. And so when the Colts got him, I was very happy. I think what it says about this team, one, they've really missed on a lot of tight end picks over the last few years. They spent a lot of mid-round capital on tight ends. It has not gone well. And 2, I mean, this is the quote-unquote safety blanket, I guess, for Anthony Richardson. But there's just so much uncertainty about the quarterback situation. I think we'll know after like a month where we're at with Richardson. But it's not a bad situation. You're coming in with a decent O-line, a good running back, potentially good tight end, some solid, not excellent, but solid receivers, pretty good play caller on offense. Like, this is a system that is built for quarterbacks to be successful. If Richardson can't do it, they could be interesting, come next season with, potentially the free agency or trade market.
Yeah, and it does feel like a last-ditch effort because, Cam Newton was the comp, right, when Anthony Richardson came out. What was his safety blanket? Greg Olsen. It does feel like Tyler Warren, maybe he can be some version of that, like a Dallas Clark, Greg Olsen combination safety blanket for this team, best case scenario. Where can we find all your work, DABUNDO? We appreciate you coming on the show, and thanks for all the insights, man.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Anthony DABUNDO. I'm on the Ringer Soccer Show, on the Ringer Gambling Show. I'm doing Philly stuff with Sheil.
Yeah.
And I've got a piece dropping on Wednesday today about the conclave. We're picking a new pope, and you can actually bet on that. So let's get down to Rome, to the Sistine Chapel, and figure out who the next leader of the Catholic Church is going to be.
Thankfully, we have people like you who are locked in and keeping us up to speed on all those things. So, DABUNDO, we appreciate you coming on the show, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, there you have it for another edition of Thru the Ringer. Thanks to Cousin Sal, as always, for coming on the show. Thanks to Anthony DABUNDO for breaking down all things Champions League and the MLB. We appreciate both guys for coming on the show, as always. We will be back next week on Thru the Ringer, and we will see you then.